people who are disadvantaged, low income, etc., by helping them move up in the social ecosystem. There's many ways good schools bring value to communities. For the pragmatic property owner, it's your property value. But it's more than that, it's your social fabric. But the key word is successful. And unfortunately, we haven't had enough of that. Distinguished school doesn't mean top 50 schools in the state. I've heard that said before. It's an accomplishment. It represents growth. But even the year we got the Distinguished School Award, we were still really failing our low-income, disadvantaged population. We were making progress, but not enough. We are not bringing our communities together in a two-school model, in a model where we fail our low-income, disadvantaged population. We need to change it so that we become successful schools. That's the key, because we all know what that means. I think that's 9 seconds.
I agree that the school has an opportunity to bring a community together. And over time, I feel like that's happened. With 80% of our children, over half of the Marine City children, as well as Sausalito, going to school together every day in a real world reflective environment of diversity, inclusion, engagement, warmth. It's a fertile education experience. It's an opportunity for us to deliver value. I think we have an opportunity to do better. And if we were to completely come together as a community, and that's 100% of the students, and focus on the areas that need the most attention, the students that need the most help, I think we'll deliver a tremendous amount of value. And speaking of value in our community, we have such valuable resources, incredibly intelligent people with the blessing of time to give to this effort for the school to deliver back to the community. I look forward to having that spread across all of the students in our community that both live in Sausalito, Marine City, and represent all aspects of the socioeconomic spectrum.
I gave it back. I'll give it to you.
Okay, so public schools giving value to the communities. The whole tenet of a public school is to provide a rich, vibrant education for our children. And I think when we do that, it gives value to the community. I think that the leadership at the school needs to model what it is that we expect from our student body. And so I think it is important to have high achievement, to have those goals so that kids are really challenged. And so even though these banners are on the wall, they were earned. So we can never undermine the gradual steps that children did within this district, because that was earned. And then when we can really sit at the table of brotherhood and stop looking at that subway as being our great divide and come together more as a community at large, that too will give value to our community.
I have to say, for me, it is such a tragedy that Jen and Josh choose to send their kids to school in Sausalito when they live in Marin City, just a couple of blocks from our school here. And there's a part of it. I think Willow Creek has done an amazing job, and they've really worked to increase diversity, and I appreciate that. But I don't see that we have done such a good job about bringing these communities together, and that breaks my heart. I think that we are the same zip code, we are the same folks, and we need to be trying to improve the opportunities in both of these schools. I think that's incredibly important. Obviously, schools are vital. Education is the answer to bring kids out of poverty. It is the thing that changes the world. It is the thing that keeps kids from going to prison, the prison, school to prison pipeline. We have to have great schools. It's incredibly important for our property value. Willow Creek has done by having Willow Creek, I get it, that it has helped Sausalito because there are more kids that are coming into school, but I don't see that we've done this fabulous job about taking care of kids here as well. Saying that we only, that we have to serve kids in both schools until we can combine them. And I don't think any of us think that we can do that overnight. We all agree that we have to be talking together, but we need to work together to do that.
We lost our meeting room in Sausalito, where I was volunteering as senior pastor with Doug Storms, Baptist minister, my co-minister, and until we find another place to have church in Sausalito, which is very difficult to find a place to meet. I'm free. I'm free to be there for you. I raise money virtually every day at the Ferryland in Sausalito. 16 years I've been playing my guitar with my dog, Diamond, very famous. Most famous dog, Doxy in the world. Just Google Diamond Dog Sausalito. And I'm a full-time church fundraiser now because I got my Social Security, I got my back disability. I don't need to work, And I have no rent, no mortgage. I've been anchored out 30 years on San Francisco Bay. Nobody has lived on San Francisco Bay longer than I have. So I have to be tough. I have to. And yet, I have to be able to raise money and for a church and be a people person. And we need to identify the kids' problems and meet the kids' problems because every kid is different. Everybody has a different gift. We can't cookie cut and spam the children. We got to find out what their talent is. And more teachers and less fact and less social studies and more political from Aristotle.
So the role of public schools in the community and how our public schools have brought our two cities together. I think the role of public schools in the community is to keep the community as a whole young continually. As you keep kids in the area, as they grow up and move away or come back and raise their own kids there, it keeps a community evolving. It keeps a community moving forward and young at heart. And that's something that we're seeing for the first time in an amazing way. My kid left, it was bedtime. And there's a lot of younger kids in the community now that we haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of that is due to the great work that Willow Creek has done to provide a beneficial option that is an option in our district, which is great. The more I learned about our two schools in our district, I did realize that they're not bringing our cities together. If anything, the two schools that were separated 5 years ago have wedged our cities apart. And that decision 5 years ago was made by a board that was elected by people just like you, sitting in chairs just like you are right now. Josh is part of that board. He's been on the board for 6 years. We as a community get to decide what board reflects our values, and that board gets to hire a superintendent or name a superintendent, that might be one of our principals, to enact strategies that deliver against those values. So where you're sitting, you need to look at us and think what best reflects your values. That's what we are here to do tonight. That's what schools should help us do as a community, is always reflect the values that we want to see as a community in the young people that will grow up and take those values out into the world and hopefully bring them back home.
Obviously, strong schools make for a strong community. And when we talk about whether the schools are bringing the community together or taking it apart, I think we are caught up in a really very high energy, bad space when it comes to a certain number of adults in the room about this. Because if you step back, for the vast majority of the community, having strong schools has brought people together. I'm dropping kids off in Marin City after play dates. My daughter's getting dropped off from Marin City parents after play dates. The kids see us as I go to Rocky Graham or I go to Sweeney. Families are coming together. Students are coming together. Teachers, they are doing the work and they are working together. What we don't see, what a lot of people don't want to see, is that every day teachers are going between Bayside and Willow Creek to help each other out. They're sick of the noise that they hear at the district board. They're sick of the noise that they're hearing from divisive adults. You shouldn't be upset that somebody that lives in Marin City sends their kid to school in Sausalito. Just as we shouldn't be upset that somebody sends their kid in Sausalito to Marin City. We shouldn't care. We should be one community.
Thank you. Thank you all. That was our last question. And before we get to the closing statements, I have a couple of things to tell you that will be helpful for your voting. Election day is Tuesday, November 6th. If you wish to register to vote, or if you've moved since the last time you voted and need to re-register, you may register anytime online, or you may mail in your change of address as long as it is postmarked by October 22nd. Vote by mail requests must be received no later than October 30th. I believe early voting starts October 22nd. No. It has started. Early voting has already started. I was using Texas, sorry. If you go to the League of Women Voters Edge website at votersedge.org/CA and enter your street address and zip code, you'll be able to see your own ballot with links to the candidates, issues, ballot measures, and information about the voting process itself. And this is a wonderful tool in helping you make sure you have your voting plan in place for this election. And now we'll have the candidates make closing statements of 1 minute, and we will go in reverse order and starting with Kurt.
Wow, it feels like a district board meeting. We're here till 11, right? Hey, first of all, thank you everyone for taking the time to come out. I hope that you found it helpful to hear the different views and different focuses on the future for our district. This is a critical election. And I think it is important to know that, well, everybody talks about, we all care about all kids. It's the actions that matter. And I think it's also important to listen and learn about what we say on and off the field, if you will, and the work that we're doing for our kids day in and day out. Josh, Jen, and I want to work together to listen to this community, to build on the successes that we've had, and to fight the challenges that we've had. And I think we can do this. And I think we can do this working together as one community and one district. Thank you.
Also just want to thank everybody for coming out and staying as late as you did. I want to thank the Marin IJ for their endorsement. I want to thank the Marin County Young Democrats for theirs as well. I do think that this is a critical election. This will change the shape of our district. Everybody up here talked about structure change. Our district will fundamentally change as a result of this election. And the question you have to ask yourself are, what values do you resemble, or do you want to resemble with the board? What structure do you think best serves our students? And who do you think will best deliver that for you? I've written a lot about this. I write something every single week. One district, allstudents.com. I'm not part of a slate. I think both slates have valuable opinions and obviously a lot of experience on both sides. I don't think either gets it completely right. I would like to bring my analytical mindset, engineering background, and my current work at Common Sense Media to bear for you on behalf of our board and our district.
I'm not an angry person. When I get into my preacher-teacher mode, I'm a different person. But in the afternoons, I have to stay happy and be nice to everybody as a church fundraiser. We've got debt in our church, so we're working it out, and I've been volunteering. And I'll be available for you every afternoon, Monday through Friday, there at the Saucer and Fairyland, my dog and I, and I'll be there for you. I won't be off in the city working. And plus, do not vote for anybody that's financed or endorsed by the IJ, that non-union rag. And I like thank you, League of Women Voters. I get sick every time I look at the IJ thing. I know what they're about. I didn't even go to get an endorsement. I just forget it. I was offered money. I've never spent any money, and 14 times I run for office. That's why I have been elected. I even turned down money for Saucer School Board. The one time I was offered money, I turned it down.
So, I would love it if any parent from Sausalito sent their kid to this school. We need to make this school strong and powerful so that we actually can have all kids together. We need to have facilities that will work. We got a lot of kids. Hopefully we'll have a lot more kids coming in, but we need to hear from all parents in the district. I think that Ida and I are both interested in looking at all kinds of opportunities. I mean, whether it's one school, whether it's, there are just so many ways to structure this. But we need to do it in a way that is thoughtful, that listens to people, and that doesn't leave any kid behind. And every solution that I've heard leaves the kids here at Bayside MLK behind, and that's not okay. We don't want to leave any kids behind. We don't want to cut with Willow Creek, but we also cannot continue to cut Bayside MLK. We need to provide great resources for all the kids.
So again, thank you all so much for coming tonight. Please feel free to come back on Monday. We'll have a school board meeting. You're all welcome to be here. So this is my life work, is to reach out and to help those who have challenges, and we have them here in our district. And so I'm committed to doing that. I have partnered with Bonnie because of the fact that we equally will be looking at all those options, listening to what people want to say and things that need to happen within our district schools. Yes, this is a critical election, and I can appreciate, Nathan, that you've only been here 4 years and you get it. And Peter, meeting you in person has been a pleasure, quite frankly.
I just have a great sense of humor.
I look forward to the opportunity to be on this board with Josh and Kurt, and not sit through another board governance meeting where we can't define what do we mean when we say schools, what do we mean when we say students, when we say community, what do we mean? What is the district? Is it 94965? Is it part of 94965? The shared vision that is needed on this board is absolutely required to move forward together. And that's what's been missing. I'm looking forward to rolling up my sleeves, getting to work, bringing this community together first and foremost, collaborating with the schools to come to find a way, how do we in the short term deal with this budget so that both schools stay flush with the programs that they need to stabilize, and then continue that dialogue with the community to understand, is there consensus on structural change? Is there a better way that we can deliver education for this community and for our children? And if so, let's do it together. Thank you.
Thank you all for spending your evening with us. Thank you to our hosts as well. It's been a pleasure to be here too. I've enjoyed that. I heard mention of tragedy earlier, and I think that there is a strong sense of tragedy that about 15 years ago, 94965 was opting out of our school district. It was opting out of our school district for the most part.
Hold your mic up.
It was opting out of our school district. It is a tragedy that for generations we have failed to serve our disadvantaged population. It's a tragedy that our community is being ripped apart about this school versus that school, and fights over money. Our community was fragmented and the schools were essentially segregated far longer than 5 years ago, despite their locations. It's frustrating that at events like this, our messages get blurred. They're not on our websites. And I think you see real differences between the teams and the candidates when you dig into the materials. Boy, that man went fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This concludes the forum for tonight. I thank the Sausalito Women's Club for making this forum possible. Thank you very much once again to the candidates for putting yourself forward for